Thank you so much for the seva, and I thank all the devotees, the Japalis, who have done their services on behalf of my leaders. So, welcome all the devotees to morning's Japa session. And now we are proceeding to the short Srimad Bhagavatam class. Before that, let's do a short kirtan. जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनतीरावनचारी यमुनतीरावनचारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय गांधर्विका गिरिधारी गौर हरि जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय अनंत देव लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय अनंत देव जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय भक्त प्रहलाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव निताय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरे कृष्णा ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वती व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरम् Hare Krishna. So we are today reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 6 and verse number 22. So let us read the verse. Yasmadandam virat change भूतेन्द्रियगुणात्मकः तद्द्रव्यमत्यागदाद् विश्वं गोभिः सूर्य इवातपान् Hare Krishna. So the translation goes like this. From that personality of Godhead, all the universal globes and the universal form with all material elements, qualities and senses are generated. Yet he is aloof from such material manifestations, like the sun, which is separate from its rays and its heat. So, purport. Maybe the purport is okay. We'll read the. The supreme truth has been ascertained in the previous verse as Purusha or Purushottama, the Supreme Person. The Absolute Person is the Ishvara or the Supreme Controller by his different energies. The Ekapad Vibhuti manifestation of the material energy of the Lord is just like one of the many mistresses of the Lord, by whom the Lord is not so much attracted, as indicated in the language of the Gita, Bhinna Prakritihi. But the region of Tripada Vibhuti, being a pure spiritual manifestation of the energy of the Lord, is, so to speak, more attractive to him. The Lord, therefore, generates the material manifestations by impregnating the material energy, and then, within the manifestation, he expands himself as the gigantic form of Vishwarupa. The Vishwarupa, as it was shown to Arjuna, is not the original form of the Lord. The original form of the Lord is transcendental form of Purushottama or Krishna himself. It is very nicely explained herein that he expands himself just like the sun. The sun expands itself by its terrible heat and rays, yet the sun is always aloof from the rays and heat. The impersonalist takes into consideration the rays of the Lord without any information of the tangible, transcendental, eternal form of the Lord known as Krishna. Therefore, Krishna, in his supreme personal form, with the two hands and flute, is bewildering for the impersonalists who can accommodate only the gigantic Vishwarupa of the Lord. They should know that the rays of the sun are secondary to the sun, and similarly, the impersonal gigantic form of the Lord is also secondary to the personal form as Purushottama. The Brahma Samhita, 5th chapter, 37th verse, confirms this statement as follows: Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabihi Tabhirya Eva Nijarupataya Kalabihi Goloka Eva Nivasati Akhilatma Bhuto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, the one who enlivens the senses above everyone by his personal body rays, resides in his transcendental abode called Goloka. Yet he is present in every nook and corner of this creation by expansion of happy spiritual rays, equal in power to his personal potency of bliss. He is therefore simultaneously personal and impersonal by his inconceivable potency, and or he is the one without a second, displaying complete unity in diversity of material and spiritual manifestations. He is separate from everything, and still nothing is different from him. Hare Krishna. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. श्रील गुरु महाराज की जय. Hare Krishna. So, let us read the translation again. From that personality of Godhead, all the universal globes and the universal form, with all material elements, qualities, and senses, are generated. Yet he is aloof from such material manifestations like the sun, which is separate from its rays and heat. So, here Bhagwan, he said as Purushottama in the previous verse. Okay, so the Purushottama, Krishna, okay, he is aloof from everything. He controls all this material energy, all this universe manifestation by his energies. So there are broadly classified as two kinds of energies. One is the spiritual energy and one is the material energy. So the material energy is there, it is one fourth. we all have learnt in Bhagavad Gita. So, one fourth of the whole manifestation is material energy, right? And three-fourth of the whole manifestation is spiritual energy. In simple words, if we can understand, one fourth is the material world, and three-fourth is the spiritual world. The material world is run by material energy, the spiritual world is run by the spiritual energy. Here, Srila Prabhupada, how he compares the energies to the Lord is, uh, he says that the energies are like wives of the Lord, okay, mistresses, wife of Lord. In among these two wives, one is material wife and one is spiritual wife. I mean, like that, the energies are named like that. The Lord is more attracted to the spiritual wife than the material wife. So that's why he says in Bhagavad Gita that Bhinna Prakritirashtada. Hmm? भूमिरापो नलो वायु खम मनो बुद्धिरेवच अहंकार इति यम्मे भिन्न प्रकृति अष्टद भिन्न means separate, they are separated from my energy, okay, they are Krishna's energy but they are separated from him. So not so attractive wife of Lord. Okay. So what he does is he impregnates the material energy, and he creates, the material things, whatever is there. Hmm? So all the material elements, qualities, and senses. Hmm? So all these are created when the Lord impregnates the material energy. After creating everything, he also enters into the material energy. Okay. But in what form he enters? He enters in the form of Vishwarupa. Hope we are understanding. It's Vishwarupa. Okay. Uh, Vishwarupa is it's a temporary manifestation. Okay, and he also says to Arjuna that it is not the original form. Okay, the original form, which is Goloka Vrindavana, Govinda. He stays in Goloka Vrindavana. Okay, that's the difference. That is original form of the Lord, Purushottama, Swayam Krishna himself. Okay, so he stays in the spiritual energy. In the material energy, he expands himself as the Vishwarupa. Okay, so how he expands, that is said in an analogy which is given here. The analogy says that Krishna expands himself like the sun. Okay, how the sun reaches us through its rays, right? Rays and heat. The sun is actually staying far away from this world. But what he does, he sends his rays and the heat which sustains this world, although he is far off. Like that, Sri Krishna, in his personal form, he is residing in Goloka Vrindavana. But how he has expanded uh, as the Brahman, right? The effulgence, Brahman effulgence, and the Vishwarupa. Hmm? So all these are energies of the Lord, and they sustain this world. So the as the sun rays cannot exist without the sun, in the same way, even this Vishwarupa or the Brahman effulgence, hmm, the light which comes out from the personal body of the Lord, cannot exist without the Lord Himself. Okay, so the personal form of Lord is having much more importance when compared to these other forms. But they are all equally powerful. Okay, they are all identical with the Lord. Only thing is, without the Lord, the other things cannot exist. Hmm. But the impersonalist, an impersonalist, he doesn't much care about the personal form of the Lord. He doesn't give importance to that form of the Lord. He only sees the effulgence of the Lord. He doesn't have any information also that this effulgence is coming from person, okay, from the body of Krishna. That is already explained in the Brahma Samhita. So, and even in this one also, Bhagavad Gita also, Brahmano hi pratishtaham. Hmm? So Krishna says that um, I am the base, sustainer of the Brahman effulgence. The Brahman effulgence is coming from me. That's what Krishna says. Hmm? So the impersonalists, they can't really understand the personal form of the Lord. They get bewildered by understanding that the Supreme Lord, he is having two hands, two legs, and he's holding flute with his two hands. These all things they can't really digest. Okay, so they can only accommodate the gigantic Vishwarupa of the Lord. Whatever they can see, right? Whatever they can imagine is only the Vishwarupa of the Lord. But one should know that the rays of sun are secondary to the sun, and exactly in the same way, the impersonal gigantic form of the Lord is secondary to the personal form as Purushottama. So in the Brahma Samhita, another verse which we read in the purport, Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavita Abhihi. So that shloka says that Sri Krishna, he enlivens the senses of everyone by his personal body rays, resides in his transcendental abode called Goloka. Hmm? Goloka eva nivasati akhilatma bhuto. He is there in everyone's heart. He is there in every part of the world. Yet he resides in his transcendental abode called Goloka. Now, how he stays in every nook and corner of the world? By expanding his energy, by the Brahman. Hmm? Expanding his energy, he stays in every nook and corner of the world. So, like this, he is simultaneously present and simultaneously not present everywhere. So that comes to the point of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's understanding, that is Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva. Simultaneously one and different. Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva. So he is one without a second, displaying complete unity in diversity of material and spiritual manifestations. He is separate from everything, and still nothing is different from him. Everything are his energies. Okay. But he is separate from all of them. That is the whole understanding of this verse. So there are also other things like uh, in Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter, Sri Krishna says that that because I am transcendental, beyond the fallible and infallible, and because I am the greatest, I am celebrated both in the world and in Vedas as Supreme Person. That is Purushottama. So, the Vedas they celebrate Krishna as Purushottama. This is 18th verse of Bhagavad Gita. So there he is above the fallible and the infallible. There are two kinds of person. Okay, one is who's Jiva. Okay, another one who resides in the spiritual world, who is already achieved the liberation. So beyond these two, there is another one supreme person. Okay, beyond him there is another supreme person, and that is uh, Krishna. That is Purushottama. So let us just read that verse. Hmm. Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter, 18th verse. That is, Yasmaksharamatidoham aksharaadapi chottamaha atosmi loke vede cha pratitah purushottamah. Because I'm transcendental. That is what is said here. Okay. So no one can surpass the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Hmm? Even the conditioned soul or the liberated soul. In whatever condition the living entity is, he can't really go beyond the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yes. That indicates that no one can become God either in the present state, which is conditioned state, or in the liberated state. Nobody can become Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, that is never possible. Always one has to understand that one is subordinate to the Supreme Lord. Okay, that is what is said by even Uttama. Uttama means he is above everyone. So, Janati Purushottama. That is one thing. One has to understand that. So that is the difference between the living entities and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are not equal in all respects. They are equal in the respect that both are spiritual. Okay, both live eternally. Yes, that is true. There is oneness in such aspect. But when it comes to the power or the quantity, like that, Mahan, Krishna is Mahan. We are all Anu, okay, we are very small. We are having limited powers. Krishna is unlimitedly powerful, okay, so he can do anything. So, like that, there is a difference and there is also similarity, which is again Achintya, Bheda, and Abheda Tattva. Okay. So, another one verse which is from the same chapter, that is 16th verse. So, there what Krishna says is Yomam evam asammodo janati purushottamam sa sarvavid bhajati mam sarva bhavena Bharata. So there what Krishna says, whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharata. So that is what a devotee does, right? One who gets to know that yes, Krishna is the ultimate. from him comes everything. One who knows that, he starts engaging in devotional service. Bhajati. Okay, bhajati means devotional service. That is bhakti. Yeah. But what the impersonalists do, the imperfect knower, not just impersonalist actually, they are one of the groups who does this. So the imperfect knower, kid who does not know completely, goes on simply speculating about the absolute truth. Some comes to the conclusion that there is no absolute truth at all. Some comes to some conclusion that we are only God. Some comes to the conclusion that the Brahman, everything becomes zero at the end. So like this, they start speculating. Okay, and they're actually wasting their time. But those who engage directly in Krishna consciousness, he is a perfect knower and he never wastes his time. He does the devotional service of the Lord. So that thing we all have to understand. Okay. Throughout the whole of Bhagavad Gita, this fact is being stressed at every step. Okay. But still, what happens is the commentators on Bhagavad Gita, they comment whatever they want, right? They do not present Bhagavad Gita as it is. But because Srila Prabhupada had given us this valuable Bhagavad Gita as it is, we are able to understand few things about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is actually saving our time instead of being in some other imperfect knowledge. So the Lord, by his inconceivable potency, he is simultaneously personal and impersonal. He is one without a second, displaying complete university in diversity of material and spiritual manifestations. Okay, so yes, he is present both personally and impersonally at the same time. Okay, so all these things I could gather from this verse. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So here I am going to end this chapter. Finally, we can understand the this shloka. Finally, we can understand that although everything comes from the Lord, all the material things they come from the Lord, but still He is separate from this material world. He doesn't get influenced by this material world. He always stays aloof. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. So thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity to serve all the Vaishnavas. Any good points you have collected, that's only because of Guru Maharaj's mercy, Srila Prabhupada's mercy, and all Vaishnavas' blessings. And anything which is not so good or any wrong which happened, it's only because of my anarthas. So kindly forgive for that. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Wonderful class Mataji. Hare Krishna. ಸೊ ಇವತ್ತು ವಿಜೇತಾ ಮಾತಾಜಿ ಅವರು 2.6.21 ಶ್ಲೋಕದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ನೋಡಿ, ಹಿಂದಿನ ಶ್ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ತ್ರಿಪಾದ ವಿಭೂತಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಏಕಪಾದ ವಿಭೂತಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಈ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಹೀಗೆ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ನೋಡಿ, ಭಗವಂತನ ಲೀಲಾಗ್ಲಿ ಗುಣ ಆಗ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಅವನು ಎಷ್ಟು ಉತ್ತಮ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಈ ಶ್ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾಗವತ ಈ ಒಂದು ಕ್ಯಾಂಟೋಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ನೀಟಾಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಜಿ ಏನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಈ ವರ್ಷಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ತ್ರಿಪಾದ ವಿಭೂತಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕ ಜಗತ್ತು, ಯಾವ್ದು ಮುಕ್ಕಾಲ್ ಭಾಗ ಇದೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಏಕಪಾದ ವಿಭೂತಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕ ಜಗತ್ತು, ಇದು ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್, ಭೌತಿಕ ಜಗತ್ತು, ಇದು ಬಂದು ಕಾಲ್ಪಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಆದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಭಗವಂತರ ನಿತ್ಯ ಸಹಚರ ಏನಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ಅವರು ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕ ಜಗತ್ತಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ. ಅವರ ಸೇವೆ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಭಕ್ತಿಯುತ ಸೇವೆ, ಭಗವಂತನಿಗೆ ಪ್ರೀತಿಪೂರ್ವಕವಾಗಿ ಸೇವೆ ಮಾಡೋದೇ ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಆ ಒಂದು ಸೇವೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಎಂಗೇಜ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕ ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಅದು ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಇಂದ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಜ್ಞಾನದಿಂದ ತುಂಬಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದು ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಾಯ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಭೌತಿಕ ಜಗತ್ತಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಅಶಾಶ್ವತ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಇದು ಸಣ್ಣ ಪೋರ್ಷನ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಇದು ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಟೆಂಪರವರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಈ ಒಂದು ಬದ್ಧ ಜೀವಿಗಳು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಬದ್ಧ ಜೀವಿಗಳು ಸಹ ಈ ಒಂದು ನಿತ್ಯ ಮುಕ್ತ ಅಂತ ಈ ಒಂದು ಶ್ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿದೆ. ನಿತ್ಯ ಮುಕ್ತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾರು ಲಿಬರೇಟೆಡ್ ಸೋಲ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕ ಜಗತ್ತಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾರಲ್ವಾ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಭೌತಿಕ ಜಗತ್ತಿನಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತ ಈ ಬದ್ಧಾತ್ಮಗಳು ಸಹ ಆ ಒಂದು ಭಗವಂತನ ಒಂದು ಧಾಮಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಜವಾದ ಭಕ್ತಿಯುತ ಸೇವೆನ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ನಾವು ಈ ಒಂದು ರಿಪೀಟೆಡ್ ಸೈಕಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಬರ್ತ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡೆತ್ ನ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕ ಜಗಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗೋದು ಸುಲಭ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಹಿಂದಿನ ಶ್ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಭಗವಂತನ ಪುರುಷೋತ್ತಮ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಪುರುಷೋತ್ತಮ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಯಾರು ಅಲ್ಲ, ಸ್ವಯಂ ಶ್ರೀಕೃಷ್ಣನೇ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನೋಡಿ, ಭಗವಂತನಿಗೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಭೌತಿಕ ಜಗತ್ತಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕ ಜಗತ್ತಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಇದು ಎರಡು ಹೆಂಡತಿಯರ ತರ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಈ ಇಬ್ಬರಲ್ಲಿ ಭಗವಂತನಿಗೆ ಯಾರು ಇಷ್ಟ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕ ಜಗತ್ತೇ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಇಷ್ಟ ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಜಿಯವರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಆದ್ರೆ ಭಗವಂತ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಈ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿಯ ಕಾರ್ಯ ಮಾಡಿದ ನಂತರ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಒಂದು ಜೀವರಾಶಿಗಳಲ್ಲೂ ಭಗವಂತ ಸ್ವಯಂ ಆಗಿ ನೆಲೆಸಿರ್ತಾನೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ವಿಶ್ವರೂಪದ ಒಂದು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಆಸ್ ವಿಶ್ವರೂಪ ಅವರು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಭೌತಿಕ ಜಗತ್ತು ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಈ ಒಂದು ಭಗವಂತ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ಮಾಡಿರುವಂತ ಭೌತಿಕ ಜಗತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ತೃಪ್ತಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಮಾಡಿರುವಂತದ್ದು. ಸೊ ಅದು ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅಶಾಶ್ವತ, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾನಿಫೆಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಟೆಂಪರರಿ ಮ್ಯಾನಿಫೆಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಆದ್ರೆ ಈ ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕ ಜಗತ್ತೇನಿದೆ ಇದು ಗೋಲೋಕ ವೈಕುಂಠ, ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪುರುಷೋತ್ತಮನಾಗಿ ನೆಲೆಸಿರ್ತಾನೆ, ಅವನ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಪಿರಿಚುವಲ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಅದು. ಸೊ ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಸೂರ್ಯ ನೋಡಿ ಒಂದು ದಿಕ್ಕಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಅವನ ಬೆಳಕಿನ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಅವ್ನು ಎಲ್ಲಾರನ್ನೂ ರೀಚ್ ಆಗ್ತಾನಲ್ವಾ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯೇ ದೇವೋತ್ತಮ ಪರಮ ಪುರುಷ ಶ್ರೀಕೃಷ್ಣನು ಸಹ ಒಂದು ಗೋಲೋಕ ವೃಂದಾವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ರೂ ಸಹ ಅವನು ಈ ಒಂದು ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕ ಜಗತ್ತಿಗೆ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಭೌತಿಕ ಜಗತ್ತಿಗೆ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಸಮವಾಗಿ ಅವನು ತನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಶಕ್ತಿನ ಅವನು ಕರುಣೆಯನ್ನ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆದ್ರೆ ಮಾಯಾವಾದಿಗಳಿಂದ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಅವರು ಭಗವಂತನ ಅವರು ರಿಯಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಅವನ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಬರುವಂತ ಬೆಳಕು ಆ ಶಕ್ತಿನ ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಅವರು ನಂಬಿಕೆನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಭಗವದ್ಗೀತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಯಂ ಕೃಷ್ಣನೇ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅರ್ಜುನ್ಗೂ ಸಹ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾರು ಈ ಒಂದು ದಿವ್ಯವಾದ ಜ್ಞಾನನ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೋ ಅವರು ನನಗೆ ಶರಣಾಗತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ಈ ಒಂದು ಶ್ಯಾಮಸುಂದರ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ನ ಯಾರು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೋ ಅವರು ನಿಜವಾಗ್ಲೂ ನನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಭಕ್ತಿಯುತ ಸೇವೆಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ನನಗೆ ಶರಣಾಗತಿಯಾಗಿ ಭಕ್ತಿಯುತ ಸೇವೆನ ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತಾರೆ ಅಂತ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಮಾಯವಾದಿಗಳು ಇಂಪರ್ಸನಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಏನ್ ಅನ್ಕೋತಾರೆ, ಆ ಒಂದು ಬೆಳಕಿಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅವ್ರು ಸೀಮಿತ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತಾರೆ. ಅವರು ಒಂದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ತಿಳುವಳಿಕೆ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಅನ್ನೋದಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಆವಾಗ ಏನಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಅವರು ನಾನೇ ದೇವರು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಶೂನ್ಯದಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಶುರು ಆಗಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು, ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಜ್ಯೋತಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು, ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೆ ಅವ್ರ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಶಾಶ್ವತ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದು ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಜಿ ಅವರು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಆದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ, ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಪ್ರಜ್ಞೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್. ನಾವು ದೇವೋತ್ತಮ ಪರಮ ಪುರುಷರಿಗೆ ವೈಷ್ಣವಿಗೆ ಸೇವೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಈ ಒಂದು ಗೋಲೋಕ ವೃಂದಾವನಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗೋಕೆ ಇದೊಂದೇ ಮಾರ್ಗ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಭಗವಂತನಿಂದಾನೇ ಬಂದಿರುವಂತದ್ದು. ಆದ್ರೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಏನಿದೆ ಲೈಕ್ ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಭೌತಿಕ ಜಗತ್ತಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಆ ಭೌತಿಕ ಜಗತ್ತಿಂದ ಭಗವಂತ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ತ್ರಿಗುಣಗಳಿಂದ ಭಗವಂತ ತ್ರಿಗುಣಗಳ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಸಹ ಆ ತ್ರಿಗುಣಗಳಿಂದ ಭಗವಂತ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಈ ಒಂದು ಶ್ಲೋಕದ ಸಾರಾಂಶ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಮಾತಾಜಿ ಫಾರ್ ದ ವಂಡರ್ಫುಲ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್. ಹರೇ ಕೃಷ್ಣ.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Very nicely you translated that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Vijetha Mataji, for your nice explanation about the Lord and his expansions, how the Lord is not touched by this three modes of material nature, and how powerful the Lord is. Very nicely explained. So we like to hear more and more from you. So a few points, I would like to mention here. So in the verse it is mentioned that Jad avidya cha vidya cha. So either it is material world or spiritual world or vidya or avidya, everything coming from Krishna, and Krishna is the master of everything. And also Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada explains that in 3, Kshetrajnam cha apimam vidhi, sarvakshetreshu bharata. So, Kshetra means the place, and he is the every controller, either in the material world, either in the Tripada or Ekapada, he is the master of everything. At the end, Prabhupada gives very um, touching point. There is Therefore, there is no chance of being contaminated by the influence of nescience or forgetfulness, avidya, in the liberated stage of devotional activities. Now, see the Lord is thus proprietor of the fields of both nescience and of cognition. Now, the last line is very important. And it remains the choice of the living entity to exist in either of the above regions. Two regions. One is Tripada, the other is Ekpada. So the living entity, he can stay wherever he wants. That means in the free will, Supreme Lord Krishna does not enter. But to give free will, Lord gives a lot of facilities for the living entity to understand, so that he can aptly exercise his free will. One crude example, I can say that when you see a cigarette pack, it is mentioned, smoking is injurious to health. So the living entity, there are some educated, there are uneducated, and he can use his vichakshana shakti, discriminatory power. So thereby he is entangled. If he is an intelligent, he does not smoke. If he is unintelligent, and he is get caught by the maya. Okay, so thank you very much. If anybody would like to share, add few more points for these words, you are welcome.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Dhanavad.
Prabhu, here also God has given choice for us only, Prabhu. Whichever path you want, you select. Now it is our choice to select, Prabhu, which path we want to go. Because again, in the previous verse, it is told that in Bhagavad Gita also, it is told that whichever decision you take, you should not sit and blame for Krishna because of you. I am in this situation. Like that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. Anybody else? 1 or 2 points? So in this way, we need to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sanskrit discussion should be there. Yeah, appreciation and thanksgiving is there for the Bhagavatam speaker. Very nice. But how much we have heard, how much we have imbibed it, that's very important. Anybody would like to mention 1 or 2 points? What you heard, what you read? Okay, that means you are not there in the class. Please be present in the class. It is online, it is free. Okay, so thank you very much. Yadara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai.